we're going to be diving into the details of every aspect of living in Melbourne Beach. What's up, guys? My name is Randy Wooters with the RW Group at eXp Realty here in Melbourne Beach. Today I want to talk about these things because I think that it's really important to understand the community that you want to live in. If you think about moving to Melbourne Beach, you need to know what it's like to live here. And so today we're going to take a deep dive and cover the livability and cost of living in Melbourne Beach, Florida. Let's dig in. Okay, guys, so I found this really cool site. It's called areavibes.com. And while I'm not a promoter of their site or anything, I just find that it's really cool to be able to look at the different aspects of this city and to dive right in. Now, here's where this is going to be a little different. So yes, I'm going to talk about the things on here, but then I'm going to give you some anecdotal evidence. First off, it says, a population of just shy of 3,200 people. It is a small city on the East Coast on the barrier islands of Florida. Now, there's really only one or two accesses to Melbourne Beach from the mainland, and that's going to be the Melbourne Causeway. And then if you go a little bit further north, you're going to have the O'Galley Causeway. Okay, so compared to the state of Florida overall and the United States, you've got a livability score of 87 out of 100. Florida is ranked at 72, and the US is 67. So it's the 26th ranked city in Florida, which I think is pretty awesome. Now, if they actually lived there, they would probably rank it at number one, like I would. It's a great place to live, great place to either retire or raise a family. Let's talk a little bit about the demographics of Melbourne Beach. What kind of a town is it? What can you sort of expect? Like I mentioned, it's just shy of 3,200 people. It is a pretty small town. And, on average, it's a pretty slow-paced type of place. There's not a whole lot of hustle and bustle. And I think that the main reason of that is because there's only that one causeway, or the two causeways, Melbourne Causeway and O'Galley Causeway, to even get to Melbourne Beach. So you've got to go out of your way to get there. So it's not like a pass-through city where you would be driving somewhere else. It's pretty much the only reason to be there is because you live there or, somewhere around there. So I think that's really cool. Median age, it says, is 47.7. Again, it's probably because there is quite a bit of a retirement community type thing. But, that's just interesting to note. It says married, 66% of them. Families with kids under 18, about 30%. By the way, they have Gemini Elementary School, public school, which is ranked 10 out of 10. It's a fantastic elementary school if you're looking at that. English speaking is about 90%. Spanish speaking is about 6%. And then, of course, you've got some others. Let's talk about the crime rate. It was rated an A+ in terms of the county, and crime rate. But so are a lot of the other surrounding cities in our area. The Space Coast in general is a pretty safe place to live with a pretty low crime rate. Let's talk about employment for a second. It was actually rated a B+. And I think that the reason for that is, honestly, if I'm being transparent, is that there's a lot of job opportunities in the Space Coast with SpaceX, NASA, all of the engineering companies that support the technology, all of the defense contractors that work here, and sort of, you got Rockwell Collins, Northrop Grumman, you've got, some other really L3 Harris, other really large places that are going to sort of feed into this employment. And it is a great place to find a job. And of course, real estate. So, that's what I'm interested in. So it's a great place to work, great place to live. It's rated a B+. Now it says 60% family friendly. I would say 100% family friendly with a lot of quiet neighborhoods, great access to the beach, great schools. So again, that's just coming from a local. If you want to know more, we can absolutely talk about that. Yards are well kept. I would agree with that statement. Friendly neighbors, 80%. That's a really hard one to put your finger on. I mean, I would say most of the people that I've met in Melbourne Beach are really nice people. So yeah, 80, 90%. I don't think anything could get 100%. So 20% streets have sidewalks. So don't let that mislead you. Because there's not a whole lot of traffic in Melbourne Beach in general, the regular roads are often just walked on. And if you've never been in an environment like that, you kind of have to come check it out and take a bike ride, walk with your kids. Like we walk in the middle of the road on most neighborhood areas because there's hardly ever any cars. Or if they are, they're driving 15 miles an hour, 20 miles an hour, and they are watching out for you. So we've never really had a problem with there not being many sidewalks. Okay, so that's interesting. Public transit, there is a little bit of public transit, but again, this is an area where you're gonna have a car. Most likely, you're not gonna live in Melbourne Beach because the housing is a little bit expensive. So you're not gonna live there probably without having a car. So I don't think that's much of a problem. Lots of parks. It says 40% lots of parks. So I guess that depends on your definition of parks. Like, are we talking like little playgrounds? Are we talking access to, the wildlife refuge? Are we talking about beach? I think there's tons of places to take your kids and tons of places to go and sit and relax. And so I would rank that a lot higher. 100% safe at night. Agreed. Not much to say about that. It's a really safe community. 100% quiet. Agreed. It's a quiet little chill vibe town. It's easy to live in. Unless you get a neighbor that has a kid that plays drums, you're going to have a pretty quiet experience. 40% walkable to grocery stores. There are some small shops that you can go, but to be honest with you, you're probably going to want to get in your car and drive to Publix. It's amazing. Why wouldn't you? Unless you live right next to Publix. So that's going to be your key grocery store probably in Melbourne Beach, unless you want to drive quite a bit further to go up to Walmart. Okay, Publix is a great place to shop. 60% walkable to restaurants. Again, ride your bike, walk, drive your car. There's some great restaurants that are nearby and in Melbourne Beach, but then a short drive north and you're going to find a lot more access to a lot more restaurants. And a great thing about Melbourne Beach and our area is that there's a ton of really great local restaurants. If you get a chance, try one of our favorites is Squid Lips. That's actually up in O'Galley. Short drive, amazing vibes. This says 80% pet friendly. I would say 100% pet friendly. There's dog parks, there's beach, there's all kinds of places to take your dogs and animals and pets. And there's even 24-hour emergency vet centers not far away. I would say this one's low. I would say 100% pet friendly. 80% sense of community. That's a tough one to put your finger on. Other than, being a part of the school and volunteering and stuff like that, you've got churches, you've got some nonprofits local. One of the cool things that we have in our Melbourne area is that To Write Love on Her Arms was founded in Melbourne, Florida. That's pretty cool to know that, we do have some great nonprofits and a sense of community here in the Melbourne area. So, these are some interesting topics and some interesting percentages. I would just challenge you to know that, hey, listen, living in Melbourne Beach is an amazing experience. I don't think you'll ever feel like regret of living in a quiet beach town. And the investment that you're going to make in real estate, I think, is absolutely worth it. I can see nothing but growth happening in the area as, they're not making any more coastline. Let's put it that way. Okay. The land, once it's gone, it's gone. All right. So that's going to wrap it up for this one. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, turn that notification bell on, and we'll see you on the next video. Again, we're going to be putting out this kind of content for a bunch of different cities and towns in Brevard County, Florida. And I'm going to get into the nitty gritty, the details. I want you guys to feel what it's like to live here in Brevard County, Florida, especially Melbourne Beach. It's awesome. Okay, guys, talk to you later.